Well, today is the 40th anniversary of the USSR, the Soviet Union telling the United States that they would not show up at the 1984 Olympics because they were concerned for their safety. For sure, a retaliation for the U.S. not showing up to the 1980 Olympics because of the war in Afghanistan. But this is an interesting story. The Soviet Union says they're not going to go in, and then 13 other countries, including many countries in Eastern Europe, decide they're going along with the Soviet Union. And so what happens is Bulgaria, East Germany, a lot of the powers, including other communist countries, Cuba, North Korea, they decide that they're not going as well. And that has a major impact on McDonald's. What? McDonald's? Yes. You see, in 1984, McDonald's had a promotion: if the U.S. wins, you win. So you would scratch off, and you get a sport. And if the U.S. won the gold in that sport, you'd get a Big Mac. If they won the silver, you would get fries. And if they won the bronze, you would get a free soda. So what happened was, McDonald's had calculated how many medals would be won by the U.S. based on the last Summer Games in 1976. But the fact that 7 of the 10 countries that had gotten the top number of medals were no longer participating in Los Angeles, that means that all of a sudden the odds of a scratch-off yielding a win for a U.S. athlete got to like 33%. And by the time it came to the Olympics, oh boy, there were some McDonald's stores that on average every day were giving out 500 Big Macs, 500 fries, and 400 Cokes. Carl Lewis was ripping it up on the track. Mary Lou Retton was nailing those perfect tens. And the United States had 83 gold medals and 174 overall, a record that still stands for a Summer Olympics. So you would think that McDonald's got absolutely crushed, and that has been the narrative for 40 years. But wait a second, that's not the story. You see, there are not many people who just go to a McDonald's to just get their free item. They get many other things, and that's the story. If you look at the 1984 gross sales and net profits from McDonald's, it is straight in line with 82, 83, and 85, and 86. The story's right there. It's right before our eyes. It was not a bad year, but it just made sense to tell that narrative that they screwed up. And the fact that the Soviet Union and these other guys, the fact that they weren't in the Olympics, oh man, what a blunder it turned out to be. But if you're a kid of the 80s, you know about Play Place. Moms would bring their kids to McDonald's to play for an hour, 2 hours. And that means there was a second bite of the apple, because you'd go in, you'd get your free drink. And by the time you were out of there, you were spending a massive amount of time. It's like the Starbucks of the 80s. So you'd go in and then you'd pay for a drink an hour and a half later when your kid was done sliding down the Grimace slide. So bottom line, you might hear some stories today on the 40th anniversary of how the Soviet Union, in the midst of the Cold War, screwed over McDonald's franchises in the United States. And I'm here to tell you, it's not true.